It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire. Our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this particular episode, we have the one and only Kevin Bozeman, who's in the building. I should say Kevin C. Bozeman, who's in the building today. And he'll be talking about, well, how you have a profitable collaboration and an effective partnership. Sounds like an oxymoron, I know. What's going on, Kevin? How are you, my friend?
Hey, Shay, look, I'm doing real good. I want to start out with just a little small correction. That's Bozeman, like it's in Bozeman, Montana.
Bozeman.
Yes,
Bozeman. Thank you.
yes. Hey, that's
Bozeman.
going to help with the collaboration right off the bat.
I love it, man. I love it. Now, I'm curious. Folks are reading your bio. They're going to see how famous you are, but they're also looking at the title. And they're thinking, okay, Shay, profitable collaborations, and number 2, effective partnerships. Can we first oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. I don't know about this new Apple stuff. It just did its own thing over there. I have no idea. But anyway, the question I have for you is, why do people struggle having an effective partnership? I mean, what are some of the challenges that are facing people today when it seems like it should be pretty easy? I agree to do what I'm going to agree to do. You agree with what you're going to do, and we both go away very, very happy. But that's not the case.
Right. You absolutely correct. And so I think one of the main the root cause, the ground floor level when it comes down to people effectively partnering is, see, when we were born, we were dependent. We had to depend on parents to feed us. We had to depend on them to clothe us. We had to depend on everything. And we do about 18 years of being dependent. And we can't wait to get independent. My goodness, some people try to leave home at 16, some at 14, some at 18, as soon as they can get gone, then they'll leave. And what happens is they're so busy trying to be independent that they never really learn how to be interdependent or collaborate with people. That's why they get irritated at work with people. That's why they get irritated in relationships. And that's why business partnerships fail, is because we don't understand how a person is wired or designed and how to use that.
And so before we get into how they're wired and designed, because I like to hear your feedback on that, because people are like, how they're wired, Shay, how they're designed. What in the LL Cool J is this guy talking about? Well, I don't know either. So why don't we let them elaborate on that? You said how they're wired, how they're designed. For those folks that went to DC public schools like myself over here, can you take a moment and kind of share, what does that mean? What does that look like? And why is that so important, how they're wired and how they're designed to have an effective partnership?
Okay, so here's what happens. When we were born, we were all given a set of tools, gifts, talents, and skills. Some of us have been designed and wired to be thinkers. Some of us have been wired to feel and be nurturers. Some of us have been designed to be on the battlefield and be the first through the door. And some of us have been designed to think outside the box. And what happens is we tend to get along with them people that's just like us, who's wired just like us with the same gift, talents, and skills. And then we think everybody's supposed to do it the way we do it. We think everybody's supposed to communicate the way we communicate. And so that actually hinders when it comes down to effective partnership or even collaboration, because now we deal with somebody that's opposite. Guess what? They don't do it like we do it. And so we never really learned how to deal effectively with opposites. That's why we fight, we argue, we don't get along, we get divorced, the partnerships go, because we haven't said, okay, here's your area of strength, here's my area of strengths, here's my blind spots. Can you cover my blind spots? And then I'm supposed to cover your blind spots. Or get a partner who know how to cover blind spots. So when all of those things take effect, you get failed collaborations, failed partnerships, failed relationships. And it's only because we don't know how to use the gifts and talents of another person.
Makes a lot of sense. Thanks for the point of clarification, man. I appreciate that. And take a moment as we swing to the other side. You talk about having effective partnerships. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you want to know now? Okay, I get it. What's one, two, or three things that individuals can do to really have an effective partnership? Let me ask that question before we even get into profitable collaborations, which I'm curious how collaborations are different from partnerships. But don't worry, he'll clarify that. But what's one, two, or three things that the person that's watching, and Kevin, just so you're clear, a lot of these folks are dualpreneurs, work a full-time job and they're a full-time entrepreneur. They've got responsibilities with their family. Some have children they're responsible for. Some have parents or they're responsible for loved ones. And others just have a lot going on in the community. So effective partnerships, I know, can help many, many folks, including myself, who are watching. So what's one, two, or three ideas that we could take away with that we could use as a guidepost to help us have or manage to get to an effective partnership?
Okay, so before I talk about the one, two, or three things to get to the effective partnership, let me explain what the difference between the collaboration and partnerships is. When you collaborate, that's more on a short-term basis. That's more working on a project, or we're gonna create this website, now we done. When you create a partnership, that's more of a long-term effect. Now, in order to have a successful long-term partnership, you really have to understand, one, what a person's design is. Let me give you an example. My wife and I are totally opposite, but we get along so well because we understand how each other is designed. When I want the step-by-step detail and to have it be politically correct and right, I go to my wife and she helps me clean it up because that's a blind spot for me. I'm usually the first one through the door. I'm going to say it like it is. It might not sound really pretty, and she helps me to clean it up in that partnership. Now, I work well for her because I can see things that this step will lead to this result 5 years down the line. She's not wired that way. She can see right now, right here, that very step. So because we actually are opposite, we've learned how to live with our strengths and use them together. And that's what most people don't know how to do. So one of the major things is I would do is I would master, learn, study personality temperament styles because it gets really deep and it's so many years, so much research, so much information from experience to get a full understanding of how people are wired. Then you can understand how to interact with them when they have bad days, how to interact with them when they have good days, because that's never the problem. It's always when it's stressful situations that creates the problems, and that's where we fail and the partnership fails.
Thanks for sharing, man. As you're talking and you're sharing the difference between collaboration and partnerships, and thanks for sharing. It's a short term thing, so we'll get into being profitable. A number of folks have not read your bio. And no matter how famous you are, no matter how cool you are, some people just don't even know who you are, and they're like, "Shay, can you slow down for a moment? Can Kevin step back and can he share a little about his backstory? Who is this person, and what was his defining moment that led him to doing what he's doing now?" Well, so I guess you know the question by now. Who are you, man? What's your backstory? And more importantly, what was that defining moment that put you on the path that you're on now?
Okay, so here's a little bit about my backstory. I've had the blessing and the opportunity I come from a sports background. So I played high school football where we won 2 state championships. My junior and senior year, I got a college scholarship where my head coach had 4 Super Bowl rings. My other coach was Nick Saban, and wherever school he goes a coach, they win a national championship. And then you take those winning principles of achieving top honors, and they all have similarities when you want to get the highest production out of a team or out of a person. Okay. So I took that over into the business world, and I took it from the field to the boardroom and dealing with people and working with people. And I was getting amazing results. But okay, I didn't even really know what was going on until after I lost everything from a divorce, from not effectively partnering. And it was at that moment that I began to study temperaments and personalities because I was homeless and I actually needed to speed up my success because it was not fun sleeping out of my car. And so, in that studying and personality temperaments, I learned how to make sales faster. I learned how to partner with people and get projects done faster. And I was able to accomplish and take the things from the sports, from winning the championships, and put that with the personality prospect. And then I learned how to speak people's value languages. And then I could move, people would move faster than what other people were doing. And I said, you know what? Companies are landing $1 million contracts and paying me peanuts to go in and do the training. I said, why don't I just start my own training and development company and learn how to land contracts myself? So that's what put me on the path to learning how to move people, collaborations, and partnerships all finally came together from that traumatic experience of losing everything. And that's who I am. And that's why I do what I do, because I just want to see people win and get to where they can be, should be, feel that they ought to be there. And I just want to be able to help them partner because I know that I found a successful formula, but people have to work at it and train on it. And that's why I do what I do. I just want to see people win.
I love it, man. Thanks for sharing. We always appreciate that, especially understanding the backstory. Now, take us to the other side, man. I've had the opportunity to meet you like a number of times. I have these interviews, and I can truly say some folks I'm just meeting for the first time, right? Even though we might have had a phone call beforehand or did a Zoom session, I'm meeting them for the first time in the interview. You're someone I've had a chance to meet several times, face to face, in person. I've seen you on stage. I've seen you do interviews. Seen you do a number of things. So you're someone I admire. So for those folks that are listening, the person you see on the other side of the camera, he is this way. I'm not saying the other guests aren't, but I can truly say that he's this way. And I'm curious, you talked about collaborations and short-term projects. And there's a number of entrepreneurs, myself included, that's key to our success. And so we're all on the fence saying, wow, profitable collaboration. What's his 1, 2, or 3 steps that I need to do when I'm evaluating maybe someone to collaborate with? And then that I can use as a guidepost so that I can understand if it's not going the way I need to go, let me get out, right? And if I'm
Right.
so I'm not too far in. So it's a wide question. So let me narrow it. I want to frame it first. The question specifically is profitable collaborations. Number one, Kevin, what should I look for when I'm collaborating with a partner, the best that you know of in a business setting? And number two, when it gets in the situation, it looks like it's not going the way it needs to go. How can I pull out of it? And what's the best way to kind of pull out of it? Because I've been in a situation where I just had to let it go. And it's very tough to do that because you don't want the friendship to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It makes absolutely good sense. So when you understand, like I have a course, it's called Personal Success, and we teach collaborations and how to recognize it. Here's the advantage you get when you understand how to recognize someone's personality temperament, their behavior style. You can say, here's what they're going to be good at, and here's what they're not going to be good at. Okay. Now that'll automatically tell you how long that partnership potentiality is, or how short the collaboration should be, because you understand that temperament. So let me give you a perfect example for myself. I'm not good at sitting down for a long time doing the detail work. I'm not going to be good at that. So my strength would be vision casting, writing things on a board, and then partnering with someone who knows how to do the small detail work. Now, here's the underside of that. I can't get impatient and I just want to think the vision and totally forget about the small details and don't allow my partner to be able to do that. So that's where the understanding comes in when you get into effective partnerships and collaborating. It's really about understanding the other person's blind spots. And then the second thing is it's kind of like Google. It started with somebody from Michigan and somebody from Russia who both love math, and they had a same class at Stanford University. So their love for math, and then they started asking questions. What if we could create some math that could get everybody answers? And Google was actually started in a dorm room. And that partnership came from a love of something. So the second thing a person would have to have is like you. I know I've met you, I've seen your photography work, absolutely amazing, absolutely phenomenal. And just because you partner with another photographer, they may have a different approach, but your love for capturing images and making it speak a message and turning it into a brand so the whole world can see it, that would be your come together point. And then you come together on blind spots. And most people don't know how to cover blind spots, nor are they ever interested in talking about the blind spots. And then that's where the partnership begins to fall apart because we don't recognize how to cover someone's blind spots. And those would just be the two major things to create a partnership or even a great collaboration on a project. You got to be able to cover somebody's blind spots. But we're so busy trying to expose them, throw shade, put them on. That's because we never learn how to be interdependent and work together. We're busy operating being independent. And that's usually what ends up happening. Now you by yourself with your company, with your business, in your relationships, jumping from partnership to collaboration to relationship because you never really learned how to do that.
I love it, man. And as you were saying that, what it made me think about, which I think is so important, is in the collaboration, your strength, and now that folks notice about you, they'll see this about you, that not only have you been in sales, but you're doing what you're doing now. You're with an organization that you had to bring several people together to work as one. I think it was BNI, if I remember correctly,
Yep,
to
you are
work
correct.
together towards a common cause. So this is someone that not only talks the talk, but he also walks the walk. We have a segment here, Kevin, called Today is My January 1st. It's one of our signature pieces here. And today is my January 1st. For those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know exactly what we're about to say. So you can go ahead and say those magic words. Today is my January 1st. And for those folks that are hearing it for the very first time, because you're just here, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur family. We're glad you're watching. We're glad you're here. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit share, connect with us, even if it's on Instagram over at I am Che Brown. Let's stay in this conversation. But today is my January 1st is our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do over. It means our past, no matter how dark, no matter how gloomy, no matter what's ever happened, no longer equals our future. So my question to Kevin is twofold. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, what's a setback you had, man? Another challenge you had that you had to bounce back from it that caused your January 1st moment.
Well, I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
It was actually the divorce. One day I actually came home from work and everything was gone. So that January 1st, at that point in time, made me realize I could never, ever, ever, never, ever, never let myself get in a situation like that, that I needed to be able to have some predictability on a direction that something would go. And it was from that point on that I went 10 years and didn't date not one person. But what I did do was work on myself. I worked on my own personality temperaments. I found out what my blind spots were, why they were blind. And then I began to take that and then practice that in working with other people, recognizing and helping other people with their blind spots. Look, I subscribe to my own formula. It's the first thing that I go to because I don't like setbacks. I don't really call them losses. I call them lessons. But some lessons are too expensive to be paying when you can get a predictability factor in. And some predictability factors, you can say, okay, I'm going to be 70% successful in this process. This is going to be good. And some you'll be able to recognize, I don't know, this is a 50-50. I'm not into 50-50s. I'm into anything 70 and above. And so it was at that point in time where I then began to track over 2,000 people, temperaments on a chart. And I began to study and watch people using this personality formula. And doggone it, I kept getting better at it, right at it, right at it. And it's just like what you said. My last victory was this year. And when everybody else's businesses was closing down and other business organizations were getting smaller, as the president of my BNI group, we doubled in size. People were hitting their dancing on the rooftop financial goals. And this was when other chapters and other organizations were getting smaller, we were growing. And that just came from practicing and using exactly what I do every day, all day. I want to help people win. Here's the formula on how you do it. It came from sports. They've achieved the highest you can go with Super Bowl. The highest you can go in college are like the Rose Bowl and a national championship. The highest you can go is state championships. It gets no higher than that. And so that was the blessing that was bestowed upon me, being able to play with those people and those teammates and understand how they perform as a group and just duplicate creating that same environment with every group of people that you work with, and you get a 70, 80, 95% return on your investment of working with a group of people every single time. So I won't do anything else any differently. I will always do this. And then I will teach other people how to do it. And everybody that I've had opportunity to coach and work with that use it, they win.
Mm. One of my favorite questions to ask is, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given, right? What's one of them? And I'll frame the conversation for the audience because I know Kevin's had so many mentors along this journey of life. He's kind of mentioned some here, mentioned them there. He's read a number of books. So probably can't count how many books he's read and how many audio hours he's listened to or videos he's watched. And so if you think about it, Kevin, for a moment, it's an unfair question, but just if you had to grab one and say, Shay, this is one of the best piece of advice I've ever been given that I want to pass on to the audience. And you at home, this is the time you get to kind of lean in a little bit because you get to walk away with something that's near and dear to Kevin that you can now use for the rest of your life. So what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given, Kevin?
Wow. That's a hard one on the spot. But one that comes to my mind is I was in a training and I heard Dr. Stacia, who's the world's number one millionaire maker. I heard her um, talk about the process of success and wealth and abundance, and I had never heard it put like this, and it was the best advice that I've heard because it gave me steps to operate by, and it is everything is created twice. first in your mind and then with your words. A lot of people don't see things in their mind. They don't write them down on paper. They don't create a blueprint. They don't make a roadmap to where they're trying to get to. It's just all done when they wake up and go. And then being able to speak it after you have it written and it's biblical on top of that, that was the best advice I had because it has continuously manifested success, favor, and just being able to move forward with life. And I just would share that with everybody. And I'm going to say it one more time. Everything is created twice. First in your mind, then with your words. So you have got to vision statement, map it out, and get with somebody who knows how to properly do a vision statement. And then you have to learn how to put your words to match with what's on paper. And then that becomes your plan to execute.
Mm, I love it. Rapid fire question. What does success look like for you these days, man?
I like to be free of my time. That's success. I mean, I never really liked going to work from 9 to 5 for somebody else's agenda, and then they shortchange me and got me doing three people's jobs, but paying me for half a person. And so to me, success is being able to maintain, do things, be free. I would much rather do a training and development, a speak engagement, while I'm on a plane flying to Miami to go to the beach or the taste fest or to hang out. But guess what? Before I can do that, I got to do this 2 hour training. I got 4 clients, and then the rest of the weekend I'm hanging out. So to me, success represents the freedom of my time of being able to be mobile and not have it being stolen by someone else.
Man, what do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world, man? I help people have profitable collaborations and effective partnerships. What do you do for fun these days?
You know what? So this coming Saturday, I would have been married a year. Man, we having a blast, and so we like to do road trips. We like to fly. We love to eat. We're foodies, and so it's almost like being in the training development space. I'm not working. That is fun for me, and so we just like to travel and eat and train, and that's just been what we do to have fun, and it's just been an amazing
Now you
journey.
can't
And
you can't tell us like you like to eat and travel and not tell us one place you like to travel. Everybody's like, well, Shay, can he give us one place he likes to travel to? What's one type of food that he likes? You can't just leave us hanging on the edge. Everybody's like,
okay,
oh my
okay,
gosh.
so I love all Mexican food. I,
Oh, okay, okay.
I I'm a pico de gallo. I'm a bean rice. I mean, I just love Mexican food. Uh, that's what I eat the most of. I mean, I do
Uh-huh.
soul food too. Don't get me wrong. Certain amounts, certain things.
Yeah.
But Mexican food is something that I really love. And then I love traveling to New York because I like to go shopping. I had all daughters, so growing up, we used to go shopping all the time. And so, and so, anytime you can fly someplace and go shopping, hey, that's a good trip.
Count you in. Well, let me close with this. Um, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days? And number two, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in the conversation with you over and beyond the time that you and I have today, man?
Okay. So there's, they always talk about put together your client avatar. And I think if I took a look at my client avatar, there are a couple of things that comes out of that particular client. Someone who is tired, sick and tired of being where they are or not moving forward. So that can be on a personal level from dating, because you got to master personality temperaments in order to know who your mate is and how to cover their blind spots and operate with their strengths. Personal people who are looking to develop just on a personal level, if you master yourself from a 360 perspective, there's nothing you wouldn't be able to do with anybody that's around you, and it'd be real easy to identify when to walk away or what even not to get in. And then there's a person who's looking to build a team or expand their company or train their staff. Look, championships help you create successful companies, from what goes on the field to what goes on in the board place, in the boardroom, at your home, at your desk. I'm able to work with those people as well and just have them grow exponentially. So those would be who I would be my favorite clients to work with.
Thanks a lot for sharing, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show, man. I can't wait to connect and have eye-to-eye contact with you again real soon.
Yes, thank you. Now, and if people wanted to reach me, they can reach me at, you can go to Instagram at Relationship Avenues, and DM me there. Or you can go to Relationship Avenues on Facebook and DM me there as well. Or you can go to my website, relationshipavenues.com. We have message box. Say, hey, I saw you there. I'd like to do more information. We have an assessment chart you can kind of fill out, and get some information, because I'm not going to work with just anybody. I like to work with people who want to get somewhere and follow the instructions.
I love it, man. Thanks a lot for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate you. Thank you, the viewers. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Without you, well, there is no show. So appreciate every DM. We appreciate every comment. Appreciate you hitting the subscribe button or just sharing this and paying this message forward to someone else. I never get tired. Every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I really don't, of sharing with you that you are super duper amazing, that you're one incredible special individual, that you're super unique. And not only that, that you're awesome and that you have so much greatness inside you, and that because that today is your January 1st, you get to start over. I believe your best is still yet to come. I believe they haven't seen your best yet. Your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name, by the way, it's Shay Brown. It's still Shay Brown. It hadn't changed. The Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless me and wish you success. Thanks a lot, Kevin, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Shay. I appreciate you too. I appreciate
you in Michigan, man.